You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Monday, August 17th. I'm Johnny Kahner. Thank you for watching and listening to Four Things to Know today. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's get to our top story. A former assistant Anoka County attorney is accused of helping run a sex trafficking organization in Hennepin County. Andrea Sampson was arrested Friday after a BCA investigation began in 2021. The Anoka County attorney then fired her in March, and 3 others are also charged. And for the first time, the attorney's office and the BCA spoke out about what they allege is a sprawling sex trafficking scheme. Here's WCCO's Jason Rantala's report from about noon today at the Hennepin County Courthouse. You'll also hear from Minnesota BCA Superintendent Drew Evans.
Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty calls the level of sophistication in this case disturbing. It allegedly involves shell companies and threats of violence with guns, but most notably, it involves in these charges the assistant Anoka County attorney, that's 35-year-old Andrea Sampson. She is alleged to have secured and provided locations for commercial sex transactions. She also allegedly assisted in maintaining shell companies to hide and funnel profits. All this while working as an assistant county attorney. She's one of 4 people charged last week with 13 counts each of promoting prostitution and receiving profits from it. Moriarty says there are 13 victims in this case forced to be in the sex trafficking ring, but she said it's believed there are many more victims in addition to those 13.
As you've seen here, this was a complicated scheme. This was a scheme that was designed not only to exploit the victims in these cases, take advantage of them, but also structured to hide the money and the proceeds that was done with multiple individuals, including building out shell companies.
No one wants to be involved in a sex trafficking ring. It is something that happens to you. The 13 victims and others are victims and suffered great harm from being forced to be in the sex trafficking ring.
Court documents go on to say the guns were wielded to, quote, keep the victims in line. Those documents also say that Sampson was alleged to have been part of operating an assisted living and or autism sites. Moriarty would not elaborate on that today, instead just focusing on the charges. Now, 3 of those co-defendants, including Sampson, are going to have their first appearance in just over an hour from now.
Number 2, a vigil is being held tonight for a mom and daughter killed at a daycare last week in Hopkins. Kristen Brown and 7-year-old daughter Evie were not the only ones killed. Police say 41-year-old Nathan Brown killed 78-year-old relative Alice Brown in Burnsville on Wednesday morning. He then went to Brown Bear Daycare in Hopkins, where he stabbed his wife and daughter before taking his own life. Saturday, the United Families of Evie, Kristen, Alice, and Nathan released an official statement saying, quote, we are completely heartbroken and devastated over this tremendous loss and tragedy. Our families ask for time and privacy as we grieve. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the children and families of Brown Bear Daycare. The families of Brown Bear Daycare were and are so very loved and considered family. The vigil for Kristen and Evie is tonight from 6:30 to 7:30 at Downtown Park in Hopkins. All are invited to join, and organizers say it will be a kid-friendly event. Your third thing to know today, a St. Paul restaurant owner says burglars made off with $1,300 while workers were in the building. It happened at the Gnome on Selby Avenue early Sunday morning. Surveillance video actually shows thieves breaking into the office of the restaurant in the Cathedral Hill neighborhood. And owner Brian Ingram says a cleaning crew was working downstairs at the time of the break-in. He says other restaurants in the area have also been victims of burglary. Ingram went on to say police aren't doing enough to keep businesses safe. He says he has lost count of the number of times his restaurant has been broken into. Number 4, in the aftermath of the primary election, Republicans in Minnesota are more optimistic about their November chances than they ever have been. And one of those candidates is GOP Senate nominee Michele Tafoya. She's a pioneering sports broadcaster and radio host. And in full disclosure, she actually worked at WCCO TV in the 90s before moving on to network television. Our Esme Murphy interviewed Tafoya, who has a lot of Republicans wondering if this will be the first time since 2006 that they will win a statewide election.
I'm running to represent Minnesota. I'm not running to answer to party bosses or to lobbyists or to special interests or even to a president.
Tafoya appears to be one of the only pro-choice Republicans running for U.S. Senate. She supports abortions through a woman's first trimester. Now, throughout the primary, Tafoya has campaigned against the state's fraud crisis, calling it the source of Minnesota's national embarrassment. She says her opponent should be held accountable. Do you feel Peggy Flanagan has taken accountability for the fraud?
No, absolutely not. In fact, she's gone so far as to say, blame it all on the governor. Blame Tim Walz. She is now trying to separate herself from a governor whom she served for 8 years.
Flanagan has stated that Tafoya once said, quote, ICE treats children very, very well. Tafoya says she was talking about Liam Ramos.
I'm talking about the one incident of which I am aware, of which I know this young boy was handled humanely and kindly. And she's saying that she's painting with a broad brush. That's what Peggy Flanagan does.
In the primary, Tafoya won big, but she didn't put up the numbers Flanagan did. 211,000 voters cast ballots for Tafoya, but nearly double that, 411,000 cast ballots for Flanagan. A key question this November, can candidates like Michele Tafoya get more Republicans to go to the polls?
Those are the 4 things to know today. Let's check in now on our next weather forecast.
Hi, I'm next weather meteorologist Lisa Meadows. Got an isolated storm chance as we head into tonight. Temperatures tonight down to the mid-60s. Tomorrow, high temp going back to 81. A little bit more cloud cover in place tomorrow, keeping with the rain chance also for your Tuesday.
And now, here's more to know.
Authorities are investigating a body found at a Minneapolis lake. The discovery was made just before noon yesterday near the fishing pier at Bede-Makaska. Minneapolis Park Police, MPD, and the Hennepin County Sheriff's Underwater Recovery Unit all responded. Officials say the body was in a, quote, severe state of decomposition. Investigators are working to determine that person's identity. Still no arrests after a shooting at an Airbnb in Minneapolis left a young man fighting for his life. Police say it happened just before 5 a.m. yesterday in the Longfellow neighborhood on 38th Avenue South. Officials say they received calls of gunfire just outside the house and people taking off afterward. A man in his 20s went to the hospital with serious injuries. Investigators are still trying to figure out what happened. Loved ones are mourning the loss of a Twin Cities teen who died days just before his birthday. A week ago, the State Patrol says 18-year-old Drew Fisher hit a highway divider on I-94 and then was struck and killed after exiting his vehicle. The 2025 Eden Prairie High School graduate was known for his strong faith and strong bond with friends and family. Michelle Fisher says her son was working to become a Minneapolis firefighter.
His smile and his enthusiasm, he was full of energy. He really was, and he was there for everybody.
Just tragic. An online fundraiser has brought in more than $50,000 for funeral expenses. That's on GoFundMe if you'd like to contribute. WCCO is partnering again with Xcel Energy for the company's annual day of service. You can join us in volunteering at one of more than 40 nonprofits from September 10th through the 12th. There are opportunities across Minnesota for the entire family. Just go to WCCO.com/day of service to learn more and sign up and join us. Bauhaus Brew Labs is back open in Minneapolis. They shut their doors in June, but a new owner has now taken over with a new vision. And as alcohol sales are at a low in the U.S., the owners of the Twin Cities-based ABV technology bought the iconic Northeast spot. The company provides machinery that actually extracts alcohol from your drink. So now at Bauhaus, bartenders are putting that tech to the test. Listen to this. When you order your drink, you can choose the amount of booze you want in it. We spoke with co-owner Benjamin Jordan.
We've taken this foundation of really great beer and we've stretched it in different ways that now make it more suited to address these changing consumer preferences.
That's super cool. And the new owners also say the name Bauhaus will remain. They'll continue having concerts and aim to keep the drinks you loved from before. To some music news, the Jonas Brothers are bringing their Burning Up tour all over again to the Grand Casino Arena later this year. They will take the stage on November 2nd at 7:30. Tickets will go on sale to the public this Friday at 10 a.m. And speaking of music, if you haven't been out to the Mystic Lake Amphitheater, you got to check it out. I was out there last night for Leonard Skinner and Foreigner. Such a cool venue. It's outside. The weather was great. Just highly, highly recommend it. The music sounds great. It's not too crowded. Definitely get out there for a show that's coming up. They've still got a packed lineup this summer. Let's talk sports. Come on, Twins. 3 straight losses to the Phillies as they swept our Minnesota Twins. We host the Braves tonight. We are somehow just a game and a half out of the playoffs, but there's so many teams clogged up trying to get in those final wild card spots. It is not looking good, but just a game and a half out. Let's get to football. The Vikings, you may have saw, they played in the preseason on Saturday. We're going to talk about the run game today, not the quarterbacks. We're going to give you guys a break. The run game actually showed signs of improvement. Now, the Giants were not playing a bunch of their defensive players, but still, it looked pretty good. Right guard Will Fries is looking for a bounce-back season after a somewhat disappointing first season with the Vikings. He battled injury. Now, he will play a big role if Minnesota wants to improve running the football.
You just want to prove to yourself that, everything that you did is worth it, and it is. You're very lucky to play this game, and you want to do it at a high level. You want to do it for yourself, your teammates, your family. You're proud of the name on your back of your jersey. You want to, show your parents, it was worth it, taking them, all those college visits, all that stuff. So, I don't know. I feel like there's always, kind of something to prove to yourself and being the person that you want to be and the player that you want to be.
And we haven't talked about hockey for a while. Still no Quinn Hughes extension with the Minnesota Wild. I wouldn't panic yet. Sounds like they're working on it. But yeah, that's one to watch. Remember last year we talked about Kirill Kaprizov. He finally got extended in training camp. So hopefully Hughes signs before preseason or training camp because that is, believe it or not, just around the corner. It's an earlier NHL start this year.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
Your bright spot today, dozens of furry friends have a new home thanks to Rough Start Rescue's Summer of Love adoption event. The rescue brought 75 cats and dogs to the Mall of America yesterday to help them find their forever homes. It is an annual event, and every year about half get adopted. But if you are not ready to adopt, fostering is also an option for you. Here's more from Brittany Mernon with Rough Start.
Fostering is free. We provide all of the food and supplies that they need to care for that animal while they're in your home. You provide all of the love and attention.
And if you're thinking about it, Rough Start has more than 500 animals available for adoption. Most of them are kittens. You can learn more about them on their website at roughstartrescue.org. Well, I'm Johnny Kahner. This has been 4 Things to Know. Make sure to join Maria and I live at the State Fair on Friday, August 28th. That's the first Friday of the fair. We're going to have a special guest that'll be at 12:45. And of course, we're here with the news you need every weekday. Have a great Monday night, everybody.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.